now. And so let's dish out those qualifying factors really quick.
So when I talk to somebody, I can make you I'm going to make everybody an expert here right now.
Make me an
Everybody
expert,
who's
baby.
listening to this
Yes.
is going to be pretty much an expert and have a foundation of what it's all about. So it starts with three things that really kind of go from importance, or I should not importance, they're all equally important, but in my eyes, how from easy to hardest. So number one in my eyes is your credit scores. Everybody's monitoring their credit scores.
Yes.
There's even some news about.
Oh man, I heard.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Okay, we'll get into that. In a
Okay,
minute.
yeah, we're gonna get off track. So okay, from easiest to hardest, number one is your credit scores. Everybody's monitoring their credit scores. Again, you want to, I could tell you want to try to achieve 580 and up. To me, credit's the easiest. And really, if you're coached up right, it's the easiest for the person working on their own credit, not for a third party. To me, that's the bureaus want to hear from you.
Yes.
And then your creditors report your information to the bureaus. And, you taking action and taking the easy action really could make stuff happen fast with scores. And that's really, it's so simple.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to talk to somebody who is into credit, fixing credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And getting your credit going in the right direction. So maybe you might want to Google or get somebody in line to help you with your credit.
And that's one of the things when you call me, we don't get personal. Why? Because most people know their credit scores. A couple of questions about your credit, I'm kind of, I can call it every time.
Yeah.
I've seen it so many times. I've seen so many credits. I ran so many credit
A lot of
analyzers.
experience you have.
I've been doing rapid rescores before there was rapid rescores.
Yeah.
So credit's easiest, bam. So getting your credit scores up. Number two, which is how much monthly income can we prove? That's my question to somebody.
Your income.
And my question is actually, are you self-employed or do you work for somebody? That tells us, are we using the gross if you're working for somebody and the net if you're self-employed?
After taxes.
Yep. So most people are W-2'd, so you're using the gross.
Yes.
If you're self-employed, you're using your net after all the write-offs.
Yep.
And you need 2 years. So number two, how much monthly income can we prove? And it can be any source of income that you can prove is going to continue for 3 or more years.
Yep. Your paycheck stub,
Your
for your
paycheck stubs,
W-2 income.
and when it comes to rental, they're going to go off of the tax returns if it's
That's
not
right.
within the first year. They're going, So number two, go from easiest. You got to be working to your work history is really important. Very minimal gaps. So depending on where you're at. Number three, so everybody's almost an expert. Now there's rabbit holes to each of these categories, to each of these qualifying factors.
Absolutely.
So, but in a nutshell, this is what it all breaks down to. Number three, the hardest is down payment and closing cost. Well, it's really not becoming too hard. There's some local stuff for San Bernardino and Riverside County. I hope you're listening where I'm looking to be one of the approved lenders. So
Nice.
more information to come on that. We will look to see about when that gets approved and when we can shout all that out and what we can shout out.
Beautiful.
So that's really good for local residents here in Southern California and San Bernardino, Riverside County. So more news to come on that.
So a rundown. You got to get your credit up, right? Your credit above 580 at least.
That's what the
now.
For now, for what we're kind of teaching, there's other specifics under 580 where there's FHA allows certain things, but other rules apply. But we always try to get everybody to 580 and up.
And then your approved income, your documented income as
Yep.
far as W-2, paycheck stubs, baby mama money. You got child
you
support.
name it, Social Security, retirement, you name it.
Anything that's documented.
Mhm.
And then your down payments, you have to prove your funds.
Number three.
You have to prove that you have your funds in the bank for at least 3 months, right? 2 or 3 months.
Down payment, we break it down into two categories: down payment and closing cost. The closing cost side right now, and home buyers right now, not investors buying investments aren't allowed the seller to help pay some of the very little of their cost.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but you're definitely we're going to negotiate that.
Absolutely.
There's your buy down.
Absolutely.
You know, compared to a home buyer, the seller can help up to 6% of the purchase price. That's like, well, can the cost even get that high?
It's a lot of money, exactly.
Well, trust me, we can design it to where you're like, where we're way below what you're hearing on the news, you know, and that's the best I could say, where, wow, that money could be put to really good use. So really the advantage of buying right now is prices are still are solid.
Yes, they are.
They're still kind of towards the peak, but they've dipped down, and look at what the difference in interest we've seen. They talk about, oh, well, just they're going to drop more. All that means is us buyers are losing buying power. Because if the prices go way low, that means we've seen some really higher rates than what we're seeing now. Rate affects payment more than balance. So the down payment, the minimum down for FH, you know, I don't know how specific we can get, but the minimum down payments are posted. It's as low as 3 to 3.5%, depending on the program.
Is that through FHA?
Veterans are 0. You know, rural areas, there's USDA. So there's a lot of different programs you can look into depending on the area, a lot of different programs.
Yeah, of course. But all this is built up to someone as an individual. So everyone's different, right? And the only way you guys are going to know if you're going to qualify for a certain loan or how to get your credit score up or if you need to get it up, call Robert up. He will definitely lead you in the right direction and help you with all your qualifying factors.
And what I will tell you on number 3, your down payment and closing costs, I always break it down into 2 sections because it's very strict on who's allowed to pay the down payment.
Right.
That's what we got to get specific on. There's 3 entities. One is the borrower.
Borrower himself or herself.
Yeah, the buyer.
Themselves.
2 is a family member helping out.
With a gift?
We call it a gift. Yes, your terminology is
Like,
on point.
Mama, give me some money, Mama.
Remember, no cash allowed. Number 3
okay.
is a government or state down payment assistance program.
Nice.
Or grant or actual. So those are the 3 entities. The closing cost side, same 3 entities, but also the seller could help pay that. Seller's credits cannot pay for any down payment, just any kind of cost involved.
As far as the closing costs.
Yes, and then there are lender credits or discount credits for the interest rate chosen. But man, most people aren't choosing those. And the way you're here, when you hear the news, long story short, when you're choosing your rate, because the anti-steering regulation, where a bank or lender has to give you at least 3 rates to choose from. Because everybody's heard the whole phrase, rates change every day and you got to lock in your rate. Rates are higher, rates are lower.
Oh, yeah.
But the rates themselves don't change. The range of available rates can shift up or down. But next to each interest rate are market prices that get higher or lower and affect what you can choose.
So really quick, I mean, the way the banks adjust their rates is whatever the Fed does, right? The Fed rates, once those are adjusted a certain way to a certain rate, then the banks adjust to that Fed rate at that point.
Yes, a lot of the A-paper home loans, the FHA, Fannie, Freddie, all this are linked to, government bonds. It's all complicated, but a quick way to really see if the price is right is really, I always say, check out the 10-year Treasury.
Yeah.
So as an expert, it's part of my main search. I don't even have to, when I Google it, I just have my site. I like looking at it, seeing how it's trending, seeing how the stock markets are trending. And, again, the range of rates hasn't really shifted. It's only shifting up now that the Feds are raising it. Every time they meet, you hear about the Feds raising. Well, that's affecting the range of rates, not necessarily the prices per se that day.
Okay.
So there's other factors that correlate because these are 30-year mortgages, but a lot's linked to the 10-year Treasury. It's just a good, quick cheat code to see, hey, are prices trending down or up?
Yep.
So,
but imagine if you can get together with Robert, right? And you're working with what you have in the bank. You're working with your credit. You're working with your income, and not knowing. You're still questioning. Okay, what else do I need to do? I think I have everything down packed, all my ducks in a row. But honestly, you might be completely wrong. But talking to a professional like Robert, again, you will have your questions answered, and you won't be questioning